Alright, so I've grabbed the hourglass shaped piece and the plastic vinyl piece. Now the thing about this, one end is bigger than the other end. And this piece should match to one of those sides. So if it looks too big or too small, then try the other side, because it should fit pretty darn well. So this one fits, there's a little excess, only like a 1/16 of an inch on each side. So I'm going to take this and stitch down. And when I get down to this bottom edge here, I'm going to roll this up in, because I don't want any raw edges, but I roll it up about 3/8 of an inch. And as I come down to it, I put my needle right on it so I can top stitch along that bottom piece. Alright, so now you will see there are drill holes in this thing. Also to note with the vinyl, it's always the dull side up. I know this looks kind of shiny here, but this is the dull side. The other side is definitely more shiny. I want that shiny, bumpy side down where you're not going to see it. So here we also need the pieces of wet webbing. So I've got a long and a short. There's a 5-inch piece and a 16-inch piece. The short piece, what you do first is you take your 3/4 inch side squeeze buckle. Notice there's like a flat side to it and kind of more rounded. The rounded side is the up, and the flat side is what's going to go against the bag. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this through, and see, I bring it through about 3/4 an inch, and I'm going to lay that down and secure that with back and forth 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can do it 3 times, especially when you're doing a lot. You can chain them off. You just leave it there, put the next one right up next to it, right up next, and then sew it and go down, down, down. So you chain them off. That way, when you're in, you just go through and clip, 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 and not have a lot of long threads. So we've got our two pieces. As I come up here, wanted to show you the bag. Let me. So I'll show you how this works here. Here's the buckles. So this one we're going to sew on, and it rolls over and comes around the side, because this, like I said, sits beneath a bicycle seat. There are metal rails beneath a seat that these wrap up and over to help secure it to the seat. So this has to wrap around. So what I'm going to do is kind of take this one I just sewed and lay it upside down on here. There's a notch, and I'm going to center this on the notch. As I come up, I'm going to sew through it, put my needle on the edge. Then I'm going to turn into it and sew up so I cover the drill hole. So you'll come up. You have to kind of look under there to make sure you're getting past your drill hole by at least a stitch. I come back, sew that 3 times. Come back over. Once you get good, you can kind of sew on the plastic piece and the wet webbing all in one step. That's what I end up doing. Then we got that. Then we take the other longer piece. Since I don't have anything attached to it yet, I don't really have to worry about up or down, but I center it on the notch, sew it down, come in, cover up my drill hole 3 times. The thing about the plastic stuff is if you stitch it, if you go past your webbing and stitch into it, you will leave a hole. So be very careful sewing this stuff so that you're for sure sewing only what you want. And because I really can't sell bags with a bunch of drill holes through it. Then there's Velcro. There's the soft stuff, which we call loop, and the hard stuff, which is scratchy, which we call hook. What I do is I kind of place it together. I put the hook down onto the loop, like so. one comment about Velcro and guys who like to ride their bicycle. Bicyclers use stretchy Lycra shorts, and so the hook, the scratchy stuff, tends to snag that stuff pretty darn badly. So I always try and sew it so when it's on the bag that only the soft stuff is on the outside. The hook always faces in. So on all stuff we do, think of that. But as I sew this down towards the bottom edge here, there's a notch on each side, and that's where this Velcro goes. So I'm going to put my hook down, center it on this bottom notch here, and I like to sew it here because this way I know it'll be straight across from each other. Because that's important. So when the bag is made, it's important that the Velcro is straight across from each other. I've had some people try and sew it onto the end of this piece, or when they make up this, they try and sew the Velcro tabs on the end. But sometimes those don't always end up in the exact same spots, and so the Velcro can be ever so slightly misplaced. If I sew it here, I know it's always where it's supposed to go. Now on the end that you've not done anything to, there's going to be 2 drill holes, one here and one down here. And what this is for, on the bottom of the bag, there's a little web guide. And so what I do is I just sew this on here and down here, tack it on so that this helps guide the webbing through. And so I look for my drill holes, I turn this over, and I place that in. Oops, I just lost my thread. So back and forth 3 times. Clip everything. Go on the other end, turn it under. The important thing is, I don't ever want to see a drill hole. If there's drill holes, it's meant to be covered by something. So make sure that when you sew on the piece, you cover the drill hole. So there I've got this, and there were holes, but now they're gone because I've sewed that over. So now I'm going to flip this over onto this back side, and I take these pieces that I have sewn previously. What I'm going to do is match those up with this. You'll notice, like I said, one is bigger and one is smaller, and so they should coincide with each end. So here's my bigger one, and it should be fairly level across there. It can be easy to kind of begin to get them to be twisted a little bit, and I don't want that. Try and make them as straight as you can make them. So I line it all up there. I'm just going to tack this on there because when I sew it all up, it'll be reinforced. So I'm just putting it there so it's held in place. And I lost my small piece.